All right. So Unit 4 is my favorite in all of Lambda School. So you'll be doing back-end. We'll be working with frameworks and libraries that are all kinds of exciting. Node, Express, bcrypt, SQLite 3, Postgres, all kinds of cool deployments. It's a lot of fun. And so congratulations on that. And it's interesting. People tend to have a favorite for front or back. I'm definitely partial for back end. And so you'll see me around. But I do love it. I'm a Lambda grad. And actually, Sean, a long time ago, was my instructor. So since then, I was a TL for 16 months. I worked with 4 full-time teams, and I've been a TA since October. And really the goal is to help facilitate the education that Sean and Lambda School provide and help each one of you be successful individually. So I do a lot of looking at in Canvas, checking grades. If you get behind, if you're not doing your stuff, you're going to get a message that says, time to talk. We have to have a conversation. We're going to, if we have to do some extra scheduling to help you get through, that's great. We will do everything we can to make you individually successful in this unit and push you on to computer science, rip roaring and ready. As I said, Sean Kirkby is your instructor, and I'll give him a minute to introduce himself. Sean, you want to take a few minutes and say hi?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, guys. It's good to be with you tonight, and I'm looking forward to the next 6 weeks that I'll be with you. You'll have 8 weeks in the unit. I'm like Zach. I'm a big back-end nerd. I know and like, I know how to create and like creating front ends. In fact, I taught for one time the not the advanced front end class that my brother teaches, but the other one, just to fill in for somebody. And I really enjoyed it. I love React. In fact, I'm advocating for React on a major project that we're using right now, as opposed to Angular. But I do prefer backend. It's just more varied. I'll tell you right now, I think that this backend course is anemic. I think we need to add a lot more to it. There's a lot of subjects we're not going to be able to get to. There isn't time. And I've been talking with Dan and the curriculum crew about that, but it is what it is for now. And I'm happy to field questions about anything related to backend, even if it's not in the curriculum. I won't field them during class, but I'm happy to take time after hours and off hours to help out with just things you're curious about or things you might be struggling with. I'm completely aligned with what Zach said and what Lambda's mission is. I love this industry. I love this work, and I am self-taught and never graduated from college, largely based on an argument I had with an instructor who had never worked a day in his life. Just leave that at where that is. But I have mad respect for you guys and what you're trying to do, and my goal and my hope is to help you be successful. I'm also willing to field questions about my brother. If you need any extra scoop on him, I can provide that. I've been working in the industry more than 30 years, so the gray hair and the lack of what's not gray is well earned. I'm currently working as an executive in software engineering. I don't get to code every day, but I miss it, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this. It keeps me connected with the technology and something that I really, really love. So I'm a geek at heart. I love what I'm doing here and looking forward to the next 6 weeks. We'll dive into some really cool topics. I will mention some others that we won't be able to dive into, hopefully to pique your interest and get you curious. And like I said, I'm willing to help out with anything you need help with. You can text me directly on Slack. No problems with anything like that. So it's good to be with you guys.
Excellent. And I will say Sean's knowledge runs super deep, and he's always very good about adding some industry insight and just some best practices. And so every lecture. I watch every lecture. I think I've been through back in probably a total of about 7 times from start to finish. I still go to every lecture because I love it. And there's always one new tidbit that comes up that's excellent. Let's see here. Ron, are you here? Dang, he was just here. Oh, there he is. You're moving around on me. Ron, you want to take a couple minutes and introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. And like Zach and Sean said, welcome to Unit 4. So excited to have the opportunity to speak with you guys. Some of y'all are already familiar with me because we're moving from one unit together to the next. But I am Ronald Hicks, and I am your unit success coordinator. And for some of you all, you're actually putting a face to the name. We talk a lot via Slack. We talk a lot via Salesforce. We don't actually always get the opportunity to speak. So just really quickly, I won't hold up much of your time. Probably later this week, if not Wednesday, then it'll probably be the start of next week. I'm going to do a small student success orientation to discuss a few things that I feel will be helpful for you all as you matriculate through this unit. Some of that we'll consider any updates or changes regarding flex requests, or any questions regarding hiatus, tips on things to stay abreast of your requirements for Unit 4. And I cannot stress this enough, Canvas submissions are required. Even if you don't feel like it's your best, we want you to submit something because we do want to provide you some level of feedback because we believe in you and we want you to know that we believe in you. So please, everyone, do not sleep on the Canvas submissions. Get them out there and get them done. Again, guys, this is the last unit before CS. So you guys can do it. I really do believe in each and every one of you. If you have any questions or concerns, you can find me on Slack. I'll just type in my name, Ronald Hicks. If you have any non-curricular concerns, you can shoot a Salesforce ticket. And I'll get to it as soon as possible. I have a lot of love in my Unit 3s and Unit 4s, so please forgive me if I may not respond as quickly. I'm getting to you as soon as I can. So again, I want you to be on the lookout for a link this week for, or potentially next week. I'll let you guys know about the unit success orientation. And again, best of luck to you all. And let me say for you all that have gotten this far in your Lambda journey, kudos to you. That is a testament of your tenacity. I don't have a morsel of the brain to do a smidget of what you guys do. You all are brilliant. You all are amazing. And I'm just grateful to be working with such brilliant minds. So with that being said, again, Zach and Sean, thank you for this opportunity and welcome to Unit 4.
Excellent. Thank you, Ron. We do appreciate it. And let's get started on expectations. If it sounds a little bit like you're getting and chewing, it's okay because you kind of are, but we love you anyway. All right. So we're going to talk Canvas. Let's start with Canvas. There are CFUs, there's quizzes, there's assignments, there's the sprint challenge, there's retros. Turn them in and turn them in on time. It is mandatory to do that. If you don't, you'll be getting one of those messages that says, hey, and I'm going to pick on Brian because I know Brian really well. So I'm going to pick on Brian and say, Brian, we need to have ourselves a conversation. Here's my Calendarly, I don't know, whatever that link is called. We need to talk. Okay. I look at the grades in Canvas every single day. I may not necessarily reach out. If you're struggling and I can see it in your grades, I will most definitely reach out. The next thing, sprint challenges. So sprint challenges are open on Friday. I think it's 5 PST, and they must be turned in 11:59 Sunday night PST. If it hits 12 o'clock, you're out of luck. It will not take it. Don't wait to the last minute. We try to have some weekend support for sprint challenge weekends. Don't wait to the last second. You have 3 days to do it. If I get messages at 11:58 that you're having code challenge problems on a Sunday night, guess what? I'm not answering them. Okay. We try to have some kind of coverage on the weekend. There's 3 TAs Most of you know Chris because he was your TA for the last go around. And we also have Brian, who works with Unit 1 and Unit 2. Don't turn them in late. The next thing is code challenge. I know a lot of people are not major fans of code challenge or code grader, and code challenge, it provides code challenges to us. Submission problems, connection problems, when they're reviewed, we're working on that. But I will post several times during the week of the sprint challenge the video, the instructions. Just follow the video. If you follow the video, 99% of the problems will be solved. That said, do not expect to see the test scores or feedback until Wednesday following the sprint challenge. I get a lot of messages Monday morning that says, I don't see anything and I'm freaking out. Okay. The reviewers don't even get a hold of them until Tuesday, and they are supposed to have them done by Tuesday night. So Wednesday morning, and again, when I come in on Wednesday, I will start checking who doesn't have a grade, who doesn't have a grade, who work down through that, okay? So follow the instructions. If it says that it's connected to your repo, you're good. Just remember, anything that is submitted after midnight will not count. So if you submit even a pull request after it's done, it will not. I cannot override it. I cannot give you extensions. There are no redos. It's done. At some point, the daily projects will start using CodeGrader. Watch for that. We probably will not be in that grouping. I will post everything ahead of time just to remind you that it's there. I reiterate. The next thing that we need to discuss is the web core interview. Web core interview is mandatory pass to move on. You can make perfect hundreds, and you do not pass that, you will be flexed mandatory. I have no override. I cannot have a conversation. Sean is not allowed to have a conversation. We don't get any feedback. You do not pass that, you do not move on. That said, if you don't pass it the first go around, reschedule. This goes back to time management. Don't wait to the last second to schedule, because if you don't pass it, you won't have time because everybody else is rushing to pass it. You will not have time to reschedule. And we did have flex related issues because of that very scenario. So do not wait to the last second. The documentation says you're supposed to have your interview scheduled the second unit, so 4.2. And in 4.2, there's a section that says schedule web core interview. It's very easy. It also includes the basic rubric. There are 11 areas that cover everything in web. They don't try to trick you. They say, if it's talking about higher order functions and callbacks, they're going to ask you about higher order functions and callbacks. Right? So review that. If you don't pass it, no big deal. I will reach out and say, hey, when did you reschedule? Just so that we can stay on top of it. I don't want anybody to flex that does not need to. Okay? Flexing is an option that you're entitled to, and if it's something you need, by all means. But let's stay away from mandatory flex because you didn't pass your test or your interview. So just look at it as a freebie. First time, if you don't pass it, no big deal. Schedule another one, get it passed, and you will be in good shape. Starting tomorrow, this brings us to item number 3. Attendance in lecture is mandatory. Now, I'm going to give you a basic statement of statistical fact, but I think it's pretty common sense. They've been doing a study. Students that show up to lecture have a much higher success ratio through the unit. Who would have thought, right? You show up, probably have a better chance of learning something. Attendance is mandatory according to the student handbook. Starting tomorrow, Sean will have a link that he will drop at some point in lecture, and If you're here, you will have a code that you have to go drop in that shows you are present. Habitual attendance issues will be forwarded to Ron for student success to review. So show up, high chance of success, and you don't get called to the principal's office, as it were. So we've covered assignments are mandatory, the code grader issues and how Sprint Challenge works, mandatory attendance, and the link. All right, the hard chewing is over. Now we get to talk about a little bit of fun. What to expect with Unit 4. So you're going to be working in Node. Everybody should have Node installed at this point. If you're not sure, Node-V with the flag V, and it'll come back with a Node version. You'll be using NPM a lot. If you've made it through Unit 2 and 3, you should have all of those. You should know how to do all of that. That should not be a surprise. What's really cool about this unit is you will build from scratch by the end an entire backend with authentication, database, endpoints, everything. And I think it feels really empowering because not only can you make something that's visual, but you can power it. You can give it this great power. Real-time data, how you connect to it. Authentication is really cool. If those of you who don't know, I'm ABD. I'm a doctoral student in cybersecurity. And I love cybersecurity, so it's a lot of fun. And authentication is very interesting. The other thing that's really cool about backend, even though we don't hit a lot of topics that are there, you still have the ability to do an entire project. I think that's really powerful. Express will probably blow your mind. I know it did me the first time, and every time I write it back in with it, I'm still impressed. So I think you'll have a lot of fun. Those of you who do not see the world in a back-end fashion, that's okay. Stick with it. Just go through it each day, each time, and you will be progressively better at it. Okay. Remember the help channel. It is monitored. I monitor it. Sean monitors it, and so do all of your peers. So let's talk about how to address a help statement. Sometimes I will see a copy of an error message, no information, just the error message. That's not a very good help question. All right? A good help question really should have 3 parts. What went wrong? What you were doing when it went wrong, because that's important, and what you tried to do that still didn't work. All right? Those 3 things. All right? Everybody hold up 3 fingers, right? 3 things. What went wrong? What you were doing when it went wrong? And what you did to try to fix it that did not work. Because the really nice thing about backend, contrary to front end, is there's a pretty standard set of problems. This happened. If you tried this, it's most likely this. Because if you didn't get success on fixing that error or that problem, there's probably 1 or 2 other things that it is. And that saves me from having to say, what did you do? Can you show your code? And then you send part of the code. And did you do this? This sounds like this. Save yourself that hassle. Save everybody the other hassle of having 60 thread or comments in a thread that go nowhere. Right? What you did, what the error was, or what the problem is, and what you were doing when it happened. That makes the world a much happier place. And it also allows us to preserve institutional knowledge, because the week later, somebody's going to say, I know I saw it. I can hop right over there and find it. Okay. We are the last group to have TLs still. Put them to work. Don't let them off the hook. They've worked with you this long. Don't let them go into the night gently. All right, let's work them. There'll be help desks every day. There'll be Q&As and support hours. Make sure you use them. right? It's your learning, it's your success that we're trying to ensure, and those are tools that you have, right? Are there any questions related to the overall unit? As I said, those of you, I will say this, I don't have an answer exactly who you would talk to file a complaint against CodeGrader. I'll find out and I'll drop it in the thread. I have to look through and see if there's other questions in there. I will try to address those as soon as we're done. But are there any unit questions on procedures or something like that that we can cover and preserve some institutional knowledge? You can unmute yourself. I gave you that power. Go ahead.
Sorry, Zach. How do we study for the interviews?
So if you, I still don't have access to the unit 4 for you guys yet, but I think you do. If you go to 4.2 and go to assignments, scroll to the bottom of assignments, you'll see schedule web interview, and there is a study material of what you need to be prepared for. And likewise in 4.3 assignments down at the bottom, there's actually an 11 section little rubric that you can also look at, which I will drop next week to start getting everybody prepared. But those are the two areas that we'll cover where that's at. Any other questions? No. So I recognize a few faces, a couple of them. Ajale and Brian were actually with me with full-time before we came to part-time. There's a couple of other faces that I recognize. Matt, I know. Oh yeah, Matt was with me at one point. So some of you I know, some of you I do not. I look forward to working with you and supporting you through this next leg of your exciting journey. If there are no other questions, I don't know, Ron or Sean, either one of you have any last minute things that you want to say? All right.
Are there any things you can tell us that we need to download, like Postman, as we were putting in the question thread, that we could have done before the lecture starts tomorrow?
So you should be able to go in to look at what lecture is tomorrow and the materials there. Do they need Postman or Insomnia tomorrow? I don't believe they do tomorrow, do they, Sean?
Yeah, I think we will.
Do you? Okay. But I will go through that and we will, I'll try to drop that link in there.
Yeah, it usually says in the material, I'm just going to go look and see, building RESTful APIs, modules.
And Zach, also, I went to 4.2 in Canvas and I could not find that rubric you were speaking of, the study.
Did you find this?
It's at the bottom.
It's at the very bottom inside of Schedule Web. Someone just dropped it. Kyle looks like he dropped the 11 sections. You have to get a 66%. So that's an average of 2 out of 3 on each, the 11. If you get a 1 on one and a 3 on the other, your average score is higher. That's okay. As far as, let's see, how many times are you allowed to take it? We'll go with 2. That does bring up a good point too. If you need a third time, I don't know. Nobody's needed a third time that I know of. The first one throws people sometimes. The second one, you're prepared and ready to go. But if that does happen, we'll work on it, figure it out. I think we can probably get another one scheduled, but we'll work on that. If by chance your interviewer is late, stay in the channel, right? Keep the feed open, the Zoom link. It's a Zoom link. Just stay there. It's an hour long. If you have to sit there an hour and they never show up, then immediately file a front desk ticket and then let me know. All right, so we can get you rescheduled and that won't count as a failure or anything. The other issue, if you have technical problems, especially here a month ago now or 3 weeks ago with the storms in Texas, a lot of students were having technical problems. You can reschedule from the link, but let me know and we can work to make sure that there's no issues there. Even if it's just computer just decided to die on you, and just try to let me know. All right. But attend your your interview. If you cannot, if there's an emergency and you cannot, let me know immediately so that we can work on getting you scheduled again. All right, but we have had a few problems with the interviewers not showing up or being a little bit late. Just hang out. And when you're done with it, let me know, because I will start watching immediately. And a lot of times I will see your grade before you do. So I'll be watching. Oh, hey, it's there. I'll shoot you a message as fast as I see it. All right. Well, then I will let everyone go. Congratulations. Welcome to Unit 4, the most awesome part of Lambda School. As far as I am concerned, it rocks. So have fun. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't be late, and make sure you are there. Take care.
Thanks, guys.